is generally used in golf courses and high-end homes where you have gardens where the owners want to maintain green throughout the seasons. And the interesting thing about the pop-up is that when you are irrigating, that's when the sprinkler head comes up. As soon as you stop irrigating, it goes down. You cannot see it when you are not irrigating. It is only seen like you can see it here in the picture. And this is when it is in operation. Popular in high-end homes where they have greens in their gardens, and also in hotels and in golf courses where there are golf courses and they have enough water to do to keep the greens green. We can move to the next slide. Okay, we also have this type, the third type of irrigation. We call this surface irrigation system. This is where you are running a canal, like you are creating a river next to the area you are farming, and you draw the water from the canal and you put it in furrows or channels. These are the furrows or channels. This is the bed, the crop bed. The higher ground, then you have furrows or channels where you run water just like a stream. Obviously, this you cannot do in some parts of the country, particularly when it's very hilly. But I'm sure people who come from Nyando area in Nyanza and Tana River district and some parts of central, like Moya irrigation scheme, they can relate to this surface irrigation because the rice paddies are irrigated using this method. But it cannot apply everywhere. It's a bit extravagant when it comes to water. Not everybody can benefit from surface irrigation system, but where applicable, it is one of the cheapest. It's one of the cheapest systems because of the infrastructure. It's much cheaper than the other two we mentioned earlier. You can move to the next slide, Breda. Now we have the central pivot irrigation system. Maybe some of us have never heard or even seen this. If you come from Nakuru or Eldoret or even Nyanza and you are in Naivasha, when you are driving or in a train or whatever means on the road, you may notice that Alamea farms have this kind of irrigation system. It's called central pivot irrigation system. The water is coming from a central place. And these towers, steel towers, are on wheels. So these wheels are actually moving around in a circle from a central point. They normally create like a huge circle of crop. And these down pipes you are looking at here, they are pipes, if you look carefully on the screen, they have sprinklers. What you are seeing like a mist below here is not really a mist. That is water being sprinkled or sprayed to the crop. They are usually used for big scale farming and in limited crops, but they are very effective and also work very well. They are cost effective and for large scale farming and irrigation. So can we move to the next slide? Okay. Our good guy on the screen is asking, do you have any questions or concern? Kindly put them in the chat. We are going to address all the questions you may have. to the best of our ability. And even later, we'll give you our contacts where you can reach to us for further information, which may not be covered during this webinar. But if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. I'll try to answer as many questions as possible, depending on the time I'm given here.
Engineer?
Yes?
Maybe just one question. Which irrigation method is best for trees? I grow oranges and mangoes.
That is a very good question, Breda. I would recommend drip irrigation anytime. And I'll tell you why. One of the challenges we have in irrigation is the source of water and the volume of water. And when it comes to water economy, you can bet drip will give you the answer. And you know what it will do? It will put water at the root zone of your fruit tree, so you don't lose water through evaporation and all manner of other, the wind and all that. However, you may be required to put some mulching to maximize, because you see, when you put water and you put some mulching, you minimize the water that is lost through evaporation, and therefore you get best benefit of the cost of putting water on your crop. So to answer your question briefly, drip would be the best way to go. But if you cannot, and I think there is somebody, it's not, the question of not affording should not arise, because I thought we have somebody who's going to talk about finance. But even if you get finance, how you spend the money will depend, will determine the profits you make. And therefore, we should be cost conscious. We should optimize on the water we have for irrigation. We should minimize any losses, whether it's through water evaporation, water going to waste, or labor, or any other input. We must be business people. We must minimize expenses to maximize on our profit margin. That should be our secret for making money in agribusiness. Did I answer your question, Breda?
I think that question has been answered, but I will encourage everybody, please don't go home with any questions. Don't go to bed with any questions. This is the time. You will not meet a water engineer anywhere just like this. And if you do, most likely there will be a consultation fee that will be charged. So please, if you have any questions, put them on the chat. Engineer will be here to answer your questions. So also now we also have somebody who we want to invite. We saw there was we saw some of you said about accessing finance. You want to start, you want to do the farming, but the costs are prohibitive. Yes, and we do have somebody on board here who will be able to talk to us about how you can access finance. How can you be able to start these practices? Because sometimes we want to do things, but we are, we are hampered because of lack of resources. It could be lack of knowledge, lack of finances, lack of, there's so many other things that can come in. But right now we have brought two critical things: technical expertise and also access to finance. So I would like to invite right now Mr. Laden Odede from our friendly bank, Rafiki Bank. It's even the name, Rafiki. That's a friendly bank. People who understand us. Yes?
There are some more questions. Let Mudri answer them first.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Can you read them out for me, Eunice, please? All right.
Yeah, questions are welcome. People don't go home
Please,
with a question.
sorry, there's a question here from Sophie. Please discuss about small scale drips like buckets and lines. Please advise where to get them.
Sophie, you said she's Sophie?
Sophie, yes.
Sophie, how small? Yeah, Sophie, I can see. How small is small? Are you talking about a quarter acre, half acre, 1 acre? Sophie, how small is small?
Even a quarter acre.
So what is your question?
For example,
Yeah.
The scale, like when to use small scale irrigation and when to use the larger scale, and basically explaining the difference, because we hear about bucket irrigation and then lines irrigation. What is there a science that we have to understand?
Okay. Bucket irrigation essentially means garden irrigation, where you have just a small plot behind your house and you want to have a bit of kitchen gardening, to do some kitchen gardening where you plant a few tomatoes, a bit of spinach, maybe onions, a few onions, and perhaps some of the traditional vegetables behind your house, in a garden behind your house. Now, okay, that is garden irrigation, and you can do it manually because it would be expensive, and even investing a lot of money may not really make sense, okay? But here, and that can be done. You can be guided and advised how best to maximize that kind of piece of land, if that is what you have in mind. However, if you want to do agri-business, you may have to consider to do slightly bigger than that, where perhaps we are talking about 1 acre, 1.5 acres, 2 acres, maybe up to around 5 acres. That is small in the context of agribusiness, because somebody else is doing 50 acres and 100 acres, you realize now the difference.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a big farmer. And even the kind of crop you grow in that large scale would definitely be different from the one you are doing on 5 acres and below. Okay. Have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, engineer, we have Karani. Can I practice drip irrigation with crop rotation? I mean, different crops use different spacing, have different fruit types, etc. So can you do maybe cabbage and, yeah.
Okay, what happens, Mr. Karani, thank you for the question. What happens with the drip, it's actually crop specific. You see, when you're planting your crop, there are certain minimum spacing between one plant to the next. And the drip emitters are spaced in sequence. You can have 150 millimeters, that is 6 inches. You can have 8 inches, you can have 1 foot, or you can specify a given spacing, and then you can be provided with drip lines for that specific crop. So when it comes to crop rotation, it could be a little bit tricky, because you would have to change the lines once you change the crop if the spacing is not the same. But for crops Like, for example, if you are talking about vegetables, I'm thinking about cabbages, spinach, lettuce, and cauliflower, and all that. Most of them go with the same spacing. And therefore, crop rotation would work for vegetables. But Breda had asked about the system that would work for her because she's doing fruit trees. Now, fruit trees spacing is much more. You might be having about 5 meters between one fruit tree to the other because it grows into a bush, and you cannot give them the short spacing like vegetables. And therefore, the answer to your question, Mr. Karani, is yes, it's doable, depending on the crop you're doing. And when you rotate the crop, you may need to shift or change the drip lines you are using so that you get the results, the desired results. I don't know whether I've responded to your question, Mr. Karani. If I have, just...
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, we have from the person who has the trees, who asked about the oranges and trees. We're asking, are there different types of drip pipes for trees, since my trees are over 8 years old and normal drip might not give the tree enough water?
Okay, there are even different drip emitters depending on the volume, the crop rain demand. Because you see, if you talk to a crop specialist, an agriculturalist, they will tell you this crop needs so much rainwater in a season, and therefore you need to give it so much water at any one given time. So the emitters come in different shapes and sizes, and also that will be able to give different volumes of water depending on the crop you are doing. So the drip lines are generally about the same size because of design, and the hydraulics is the science, the fluid mechanics, but the emitters can be different because the volume of water will be determined by the emitter and the pressure within the drip line. I don't know whether I've responded to that question appropriately or adequately. Have I? If I have, you can chat and say yes. Another question, please.
Yes, there's, how long does drip irrigation, this is from Naftali, how long does drip irrigation last once installed? How much would I know how would I know the best quality in the market?
Okay, fair enough. The period or lifespan of drip system can be long, but I think I guess what Naftali is getting at, I hope, the drip lines, because sometimes they are manhandled on site by the workers who are caring for the crop and ensuring that the crop is getting the right amount of water at the right time, as often as required. They tend to be manhandled, and therefore they get damaged. But I can tell you, plastic is one of the most effective pipe type because it does not rust. And it's also quite resistant to the weather elements. And therefore, if well taken care of, it can last long enough, economic life. Nothing lasts forever. And therefore, after some time, it will need to be changed. The question would be, did you get the value of what you paid for with a profit? If you are very busy, you'll be growing many crops, you'll be having a lot of produce, and you'll be selling and making money. So if the drip is worn out because it's been working very hard, as long as you've been producing crop and selling, that should not be a big challenge. The challenge would be if the drip lines are getting torn before you harvest at least 5 consecutive crops. Yeah, that would be a matter of concern. And it is an issue of labor. Of course, I cannot rule out the possibilities of having low quality drip lines. And if that is a challenge, then you can reach out and we'll be able to advise you after the webinar tonight. Have I responded to that question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I know you had an offer for the people here. So I know, and people still have questions. So I'd like you to give your offer, then we can proceed on to our friendly bank, Rafiki Bank. Is that okay, engineer?
That's perfectly okay. Are you able to share the offer?
Yes, I am.
I think it's the next slide. Oh, yes. Yeah, just check the next one.
Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah, okay. We have a few offers for the participants. And offer number 1 is a virtual phone consultation session, free for the first 3 people to register. So you'll have to register. You'll be guided on how to do that. And the first 3 who have some burning questions will get a virtual or phone consultation for free. The second offer is discounted consultation, virtual 1-hour session. Ordinarily, we charge 2,500 per hour, and the offer is bringing it down to 1,500. But you go to register for the virtual 1-hour session for those people who need more information from us. The third offer is physical mobilization fee. Okay, physical mobilization fee, transport. Okay, if you required to be visited, your farm to be visited, and you're in this webinar, you get a discounted offer for visiting your farm and giving you advice, particularly for those who already have a system and they are going through some unique challenges on how to maximize the system they have, optimize it, and make profit. And of course, we are also suggesting for people with critical water supply to apply the smart water meters to ensure that they are not making any water losses. They are able to tell remotely how much water that is being used in their farm, even if they are not there. At any one given time in 24/7, they are able to know how much water that is being used in their farm. Okay, if you are a beginner and you choose to buy the equipment from us, then we are going to give quality, affordable, and a 6 months maintenance free for the equipment. that you have bought from us. That is as much as our offer for this webinar is concerned. I think we can move to the next. Okay, thank you very much for your time and attention. Those are our contact addresses and telephone number. For further information, you can screenshot this and reach out to us anytime. We are available at your service. Thank you very much and enjoy the evening.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer. We are going to post the link where you can, for the first 3 who will register for the free consultation, we're going to post that link. So be sure to grab. You heard what Engineer said. A consultation of this type will cost you 2,500, but here you have, even if discounted, you also have it. If you grab it, you'll get it for free. So next, I would like to invite Laden Odede. Laden Odede, yes?
Excuse me a little bit. Before we continue, maybe some are asking, where could they, maybe if they wanted to assess these accessories,
Yes.
maybe the irrigation equipment and the maintenance, where could they assess them and who could they talk to?
Let them put their request, Newton, let them put their request because of time. Let them put their request on the chat. It will be picked and we shall follow up. And they will get all the details they need. Please, sir.
Okay. Laden Odede from Rafiki Bank. Welcome.
Hi, how are you, Brenda?
Very well, Laden. How are you?
I'm fine. What about the team?
Now, the team is very well. We are here. We are waiting to hear what good news you have for us. And yes, and I can see you're on the move.
No. I'm now past. I hope you can see me. I'm a rather dark person, but I hope you can see me.
Yes. So, Karibu, the floor is yours. Let us know how can we be able to, how can Rafiki come in and help us?
Yes, you can hear me?
Very clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think now I feel like being an engineer. I feel like being an engineer. I've been taught a lot. Thank you so much, engineer. I hope he's still here. He has not left.
I'm very much around, Mr. Odede.
You mentioned a lot of things. I can relate. I come from that area, the Nyando you are saying. So when you are talking, I was able to relate of what you are saying.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. As been mentioned, my name is Laden Odede. And as Unita said, Brenda said, I work with the Rafiki Microfinance Bank as the one in charge of, the manager in charge of micro, where we basically deal with, okay, in Kenya, we misquote and say they are the small enterprise, but they are the big guys. They are the people who hold the huge chunk of money. So it's my pleasure to be here, team, and also to interact with you. Ours is very simple. As engineers has taken us through, people have engaged the engineers. Ours is to turn that dream into a reality. Somebody might have a dream of starting, like the engineer was saying, the beginners, they have an offer. So you are a beginner, you want to start your farm, or you have a farm currently. So ours is to actualize that dream. Our main duty is to ensure that dream is turned into a reality. I've heard people say that you can have crops and you don't meet the desired yield. You grew maybe trees and you anticipated to get a certain amount of money, but the yield does not reflect what you anticipated. So as Rafiki, that is where we come. We come to actualize and ensure that dream is sustained. Whether there's bad weather conditions, whether there's heavy rains, whether there's drought, we come in with a packet of solution which can cushion the farmers or the entrepreneurs, agri-entrepreneurs in that aspect. So we walk with you through the journey where we are able to advise, just like engineers taken us through different categories of products which are available in the market. Ours is the same. We have different category of products for that range from beginners to people who are relatively stable and people who are now advanced, what we call the big boys in the market. Now, we've been given an offer by engineer. They offer the consultation fee, their offer of buying this product. So you're wondering what you have in cash or what you have in your business is not sufficient to sustain maybe the equipment you want. Or you have cash flows and you don't want to stretch that cash flow again to commit it to maybe buying equipment. That's where we come in as Rafiki to ensure that your operation is not disrupted. You've been given an offer, engineers given you a quote, and the invoice is reading 1 million, is reading 500,000, is reading 100,000. Where do you get that financing? How do we take you through? So I think as our names demonstrate, we are Rafiki, we are a friendly bank. We have solution for each and every one of us across our branches, spread across the 11 counties of Kenya. So I think in the interest of time, I might not be able to take you through our products or how we play, but I would assure you that if you visit one of us, any of our branches across, whether it's in Mombasa, whether it's in Nairobi CBD, whether in Kisumu, in Kiambu, in Limuru, in Ruiru, in Machakos, in Wote. If you visit any of our branches in Kisumu, in Mbale, we are able to give you tailor-made solution which will plug into this knowledge, so that this knowledge does not just go down the drain because you don't have the finance, but Rafiki is here to bridge that financial gap. So I want to leave it as brief as that, so that I give the team members, perhaps there's somebody who would want any further interaction with Rafiki. I can type my number on chat. I think if any Rafiki member is here, they can also type their number on chat so that we interact with you, and we ensure that we are able to turn this knowledge, which we've been given a month knowledge, very insightful knowledge with us. Over to you, Eunice, so that I can take any few questions from the team. Then from there, we'll share our numbers, and then the team, we are able to engage the team further. Once now we engage us, that's when now we can share with you the product offering and those other details. But for this one, we just came to say hi, tell you that Rafiki is here to turn this dream into a reality.
Laden, I'm checking the chats if there's anyone who's saying anything. I'm not seeing, though the 3 slots free consultations are already full, that's done. But I'm looking for any questions for Laden, for Rafiki Bank. Right now, okay, he has put his number there. Okay, for anyone who's interested, please check the chat. Laden has put his number there. But also, if you would like, if there's a burning question, please do not hesitate, or open your mic or just put it on the chat. Let's take advantage, hit the iron, strike the road when the iron is hot. So let's take advantage, and let's take advantage now. Okay, there are no questions, so Laden, but remember Laden's number is on the chat. I'll just read it out aloud. It's 0729 354 705. 0729 354 705. Just a minute, I think I'm seeing one message here. Yes, okay. Naftali Ogana, you want to ask a question? This is directed to who? Go ahead, ask a question. Just ask.
Thanks again. My question
Yes.
is just direct to the Mr. Dede. Now, I know he has given out the number so that we can contact him later, but I also want to ask, because some of us are not member of Rafiki. So is it the assistance immediately, or we have to register as members first? We have a period for the saving with the Rafiki is when we get the first.
You have to for a certain period. But again, it depended on case by case. But if you have an history of banking, you've been doing some banking elsewhere, you can be assisted immediately.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Please reach out, Ogana. I would like to engage you further so that we'll be able to walk this journey.
I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Never conversation. Yes.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. Apart from, no, there's no other question in the chat. Yeah, so, right. Okay, so I think for all the participants, thank you so much for coming, yeah? I believe we've had a really, really insightful time. And if you believe you've learned a lot, just type a YY on the chat. And, just so that we know, it's good, it's motivating so that we know that you've learned something and it was of benefit to you. We do not take it for granted. This is time you've taken out. So if you've learned something, please just tap a YY and give a big hearty clap to Engineer, yeah, and also to Mr. Odede from our friendly bank, Rafiki Bank. So
Brenda?
use your emojis. Yes?
Morris is calling.
Yes.
He says he has joined another meeting, but it says he had a question that wasn't answered. So I don't know. Maybe you can check.
All right. We'll get to that. Okay. All right. So just give them a clap, and we thank them for having taken their time. And let's continue building each other. Let's continue growing each other. I like what Mr. Odede has told Mr. Ogana, get in touch with me and I'll walk with you this journey. So you see there are people here who want to be able to walk the journey. Mr. Muthui is there with his technical expertise and will give you really good advice on what you can do, on how you can implement and the things that you can do in order to set up your irrigating farm, your big farm up and running. So I'd just like to say again, thank you for those who were the 3 who got the first free consultation. Thank you for jumping and taking up that chance. These chances don't just come by like that. So thank you so much for doing that. And we appreciate that. Okay. Anyone else with a comment? No, I'm not seeing any other comments. So it's now 8:11, time for us to go back and set up our suppers, our dinners, and do the normal things that we do. And tomorrow is a school day for those who are people going to school. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. We are looking forward to working more with you, to walking more with you, and being together with you in all that you want to do and achieve. So thank you very much. Have a good night and be blessed, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm seeing here some comments. Thank